Well, hello, it's Kirsten Liebelt. How are you guys doing? It's Monday night. Monday night. It's so good to see everybody. Um, I'm going to remember this time. So, if you're on the replay, you can let me know where you're coming in from. I would love to know. Um, if you find this helpful, share out the information. Let's help people as much as we can. And yeah, always like, follow, and subscribe. See, I'm remembering. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Okay. So if you've been following for any amount of time, you may or may not know that we had been like shopping for a mattress. So I don't know, it was maybe about 3 months ago or so. My husband was like, I am so done. Like I can't sleep. I mean, it just was really bugging him badly. And the truth is that I know that sleep is like so integral to like function, right? We have to sleep, you guys. And I know in my insulin resistance world of conversation, y'all aren't sleeping. I mean, like seriously, this is such a problem. And that's because it's a hormonal thing, and we can chat about that later. However, so on Facebook, I had done a post asking like people's recommendations. Wow, there are like mattresses out there I didn't even know existed. There were names, he's sleeping way better. There were names of companies that I'm like, where did this come from? But apparently they're all over the place. So we like launched into our search of mattresses, which is a whole world of its own. Because, okay, so I'm 59. You guys are probably similar to my age. It's like we used to have inner spring coil mattress thingies, right? Like that was normal. And so I thought that that was still going to be kind of like the norm, but it's not. So a few years ago, we got connected to a Lisa. Does anybody know what the Lisa mattress is? I would love to know if in the comments you've ever heard of Lisa, Leesa. That's what we have been sleeping on for a very long time. Well, that didn't really I don't know. It just didn't go well for us. That's all I'm going to say. And then we ended up like, okay, we need a mattress topper, not popper. Hey, good to see you. We needed a mattress topper on. So I absolutely adore. Here's a tip right away, just for like what I personally have loved over the years. I personally love my pillow pillows. I travel with them. I've already donated two to two different hotels. I didn't mean to, but it was awfully nice of me. I mean, I was so sad. I think I left. There's a third one that went missing from when my mom was in the nursing home because I had one for her. And then I have at least two more here. So that's like I'm up to five now. Like I don't know what it is about the material that's inside of there. I know it feels kind of like weird. Like this feels chunky. This doesn't feel like pillow, like down feathers. But there's something to it that just gives this perfect support for my neck. So I already love that. So when we needed a pillow topper, when we needed a topper for our mattress because it was like breaking down on us and we didn't like it, we bought a My Pillow topper. Okay. So we go into this whole like we have been to Slumberland. I don't know what stores you guys have like in your part of the states, or and I know other people are in other countries, but I'll just name them just whatever. So we've been to Ashley and Slumberland and Bob's Furniture, Costco. Trying to think if there's any. I think my husband went to Becker. That's another one that's probably very local. And then finally, he's like, now you have to remember, I'm in Minnesota. So I'm in Minnesota. We are literally home of the My Pillow. So I don't know if you know that or not, but the owner lives here in Minnesota. So we're like, well, why don't we go down to the warehouse? It's like a half an hour from our house and like check out their mattresses. And I'm like, well, okay, that's a good idea. We can do that. So, all right. So we do. We go down there, and I'm just like getting used to the fact that really all these mattresses are now they're not the inner spring anymore, but you can get these hybrids with the foam and the inner spring. And I'm just like, okay, I guess this is like normal because now we've been to enough stores. Does anybody else know what I mean? Like, I didn't know mattress shopping was this confusing. I mean, is it just me? I don't know. Um, And then years ago, we had a sleep number bed. So I remember my sleep number. My husband remembers his sleep number. Like, we know these things, right? So if we ever get another one, we're probably like set. Hey, Julie, how you doing? So anyway, so we go down there and actually we make a decision pretty quickly. We come home, we purchase I wrote it down, a single side, just for anybody that wants to know, like for future reference. It's called a single side instead of a double side, and it's a king. We get it home, we like open it up into our living room for a couple of nights, and then we switch it out. The first night we put our My Pillow topper on top of it, thinking, well, we already have this and it's in like perfect condition. Why not? That did not go well for me at all. I'm like, that's too much. I don't know what it was. It just was way, way, way too firm. So the second night we take it off. My husband sleeps well. He's like happy because it's firm. And his sleep number, guess what? Is 99.999. Like, literally, he would climb into our sleep number bed and he would go, and that would be it. Like, that's how firm he likes a mattress. And I'm like 65. So we do not match. All right. So anyway, so we take off the mattress topper and he's like, okay, that's fine. He sleeps again. Fantastic. I don't. I'm like, this is so firm. My body hurts. This isn't working for me because it was just too firm. So what we ended up doing was he actually took a foam section from the previous like topper thingamajig. This is a separate piece. And he puts it only on my side. I'm super happy now. And he's super happy now. And I'm telling you what, he doesn't know this because he can't hear himself sleep, but he sleeps so peacefully. Don't you want peaceful sleep? Like, I don't even know how to explain that other than, and like his day function is so much better. The bags under his eyes have gone away. Like, he just looks so much more rested. It's just crazy. So anyway, so I wanted to talk about sleep just a little bit because, this is such Julie, good hanging out here, or maybe it's a Minnesota mattress. Yes. I don't know. That's so funny because it is a Minnesota mattress company. I don't know if that's what you meant, but yes, that's really funny. I know. We've got weird claim to fames, man. I'm telling you, we're just kind of a strange bird out here. But anyway, so when it comes to sleep, and I'm serious, you guys, you have to fix your sleep. You have to prioritize it. You don't have to go out and get a new mattress. We waited way too long, but you don't have to do that if you don't need one. But I am telling you, you need to prioritize your sleep. And so when my conversation with everybody is insulin resistance, right? Well, what a lot of people don't know is that when you don't get a good night's sleep, the very next day, your insulin resistance is actually up. And so is your cortisol. Did you guys know this? Oh, the thumb thing. Did you know this? Like, this is a really big deal. And this is actually keeping you on a hamster wheel that you don't want to be on. And so we kind of like fall into this category of thinking, oh, it's just totally normal that I don't sleep at night now that I'm in my, my 40s. Like, this is just normal in my 50s or whatever it is. And that's not true. Like, you can actually reverse back to having balanced hormones and sleeping. So I know that's a little like, what? But it's true. And so I always tell people, I can't do melatonin. I don't know if other people can do melatonin very well, but I can't. It really makes me feel super drunk. So I can't do melatonin. So what I do is, and I've talked about this on one of my lives recently, and I've been having so many people ask me about the magnesium that I found because, all right, so the line that I'm connected to had this amazing magnesium, and then they ended up kind of taking it out of the line. And so I went on a search. And so if you follow me in my stories, you know that like I've been testing because I want to be able to like tell you guys things, not just things that I have in my line, but I want to be able to tell you about products that are outside of my universe that can also help you. And so I actually, because I don't have another device here to show it to you on a device, I printed out a picture for you. So I'm going to do a little show and tell. Are you okay with a little show and tell? Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so this is the magnesium, and I think this will be forward for everybody. It won't be backwards, will it? I don't know. I'll show it to you, and then you can tell me. But here's a picture of the magnesium blend that I like, and it's Maggenin is the company. Here, I'll show it to you guys too on Instagram. And I'm going to tell you why I like this blend for the one that I have found anyway. It's a glycinate. Glycinate helps you to like calm down with your stress. It helps you to like, it helps with like anxiety. Like magnesium glycinate is a really good one. It's a calmer downer. And it's really available into your body, bioavailable, and you want that. You don't want a magnesium that's hard to get into your system, right? But then what they did was they mixed it with a citrate, and a citrate can kind of help you to be a little more regular. So if you struggle in that area at all, it's certainly not going to do anything crazy, like you're not taking something for like a colonoscopy or anything like that. But it just gives you that regularity, kind of keeping going, whatever. And then taurate, and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what taurate is helpful for. I would have to look that one up. But then they mix it in with L-theanine, which is an amino. And that's also super calming. So this is something I take at bed. I take the magnesium glycinate, this blend, and then it has apigenin. And if you look up apigenin, that helps with like hormonal balance. So it's just a really decent blend. So that's kind of just, I want to be able to help you guys out to, I got mine off of Walmart.com. I recently just ordered one off of TikTok Shop. If you don't know, TikTok is really competing with Amazon for money, big time. And so they have a TikTok Shop. And that is just a good blend. So that's my first tip. My second tip would really be, when I'm talking about insulin resistance, you know, all the time, the truth is that when you choose to trade out the foods that you're eating and you're not spiking your sugars all the time, that means that you're not calling on higher and higher levels of insulin. And insulin is a hormone. And that whole waking up in the middle of the night, you know, it almost seems like it's like totally normal. Like, especially like in, you know, if you meet somebody in their 50s, they're like, yeah, I just don't sleep anymore. Like, that's just how this goes. And I'm just exhausted all the time. Well, that's just because of hormones gone awry most of the time, in my opinion. And you have to bring them back again, right? So if you're spending your days spiking your sugars and then like really calling out a lot of high insulin, you have a lot of disruption coming in the middle of the night. That's just the way that it is. So the more lower you can be spiking your blood sugars with food, the better, but then back off on the hours. So I recently heard somebody say the reason why, I think it was Gary Brecka, was talking about how the reason why you don't want to eat like 3 hours before bedtime, and I'm not super good about this. I'm just going to tell you right now. I do sometimes, and sometimes I don't. But if you can back off, the reason why is because the blood flow then, instead of going to your digestive system to digest all of your food and being working here, like working down here, it literally, the blood flow can go to your brain and it can begin to do the things that you want it to do for your brain, the blood flow in your brain, etc. Like it can like go to a different system is really kind of how that goes. And that's super beneficial, right? You definitely want to do that. Now, the other thing that I mix mine with is it's in my refrigerator. I actually have I've done reels on them. So if you've heard me talk about it, I call it the stinky herb blend, and it's because it is stinky. But instead of melatonin, it's an herbal blend. And that has been super helpful. So if you if you're ever adding that like to one of your orders, look under the word sleep health and you'll find that on there. If you go to my website, which is kirstenliebelt.com, it's the second button, and you'll see on the button I say the trio is here, the stinky herb blend is here. You can go and look at that for yourself and add it to your order if that's something you want to give a try. And all the products have a 6-month guarantee anyway. But that has changed so much for me. Now, the better that I eat, meaning like during Christmas time, I'll give you a really practical example. During Christmas time, when I was eating like from Thanksgiving to New Year's, there's like that 6-week dealio where we're entertaining. having a lot of keto treats, a lot of almond flour, a lot of whatever. I'm definitely eating way too many carbs. I'm definitely like, I'm maintaining, but I'm certainly not losing and whatever. It messed with my sleep. And so then what happens is I start making sure that I'm taking my stinky herb blend, 3 of them every single night with my magnesium. And I'm doing the 2 together because then I can kind of go off into la la land. The better, the more tight I get on my food choices, and the less that I'm allowing my borders to be broken a little bit, so to speak, the better my sleep is. It's like it changes my sleep completely. And then what I do is I don't automatically then grab for the stinky herbs all the time. I do just my magnesium because I'm always kind of considering myself like a little bit of a guinea pig for myself. Like I want to know where my body's at a little bit. I don't know if you guys are like that at all, where you just kind of want to assess, like I don't want to be dependent on anything. Am I just being weird, or does that resonate with some of you? I would love to know. That's just kind of, I want to kind of keep tabs on my own situation because I don't want to have to like figure out another level of anything. You know what I mean? So anyway, so that particular product has been night and day for me. Like I'm super grateful for that. And it's got a couple of different herbs in it. If you keep it in the fridge, that's the key to keeping it from being so like potent smelling. And I'm making it probably sound much bigger than it is, but it is kind of stinky. And then, what was I going to say about that? So I keep that one in the fridge and I take that with my magnesium. I really do kind of watch what I eat like during the day. And of course, they always talk about like limiting your caffeine and your alcohol because again, it's a hormonal conversation. Yes, the caffeine can keep you up, but it's more than that. Like if you're drinking like heavy levels of caffeine and you're thinking to yourself, I can have a cup of coffee and go right to sleep. But if you're waking up at 3 a.m, no, you can't, because it's actually probably messing with your cortisol is my best thought process, like from the things that I read. Again, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But I think it's really messing with your cortisol. And again, this is all a hormonal conversation. Insulin is a hormone, right? So if your sugars are being spiked all the time, if your cortisol is being like, just whatever, touched all the time. Mr. Pillow owner is a Christian, supported Trump, and then stores wouldn't carry his products. Yes, that is actually true. He is a Christian. And my husband actually is in Christian radio. And he got to interview him one time. He was literally a crack addict. And he has a very phenomenal testimony. Phenomenal come to Jesus testimony. Amazing. Like seriously. So anyway, let's see. So that's limit caffeine and alcohol because of the hormones, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I think I got all that figured out. And then the last thing would be, so if anybody is like really, the conversation of this hormonal thing, this hormonal thing, if you are like, I talk about the trio all the time. So I'm actually going to put that aside for just a second now tonight, just for a second, even though that's super important. Those are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And the testimonies that I received even just last night, I think they're probably not on my stories anymore on Instagram, but they'd be in the testimonial bubble. So you can go look at those. But instead, what I want to do is I want to talk about, for any of you that are like, you love the help with the bringing down your sugars and your insulin so that you can finally lose weight. Because when your insulin and your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. That's the hamster wheel. That is the hamster wheel. And I'm convinced everybody sees that show up in their 40s. This is why we have the issues we have. However, there are a lot of other hormonal imbalance symptoms that can make us feel super vulnerable and make us feel like maybe we're, going crazy is a really strong sentence, but it can make us feel like, what's wrong with me, when maybe you can't multitask like you used to be able to. You can't remember where you've put things. You're walking into a room and I mean, I've even had somebody come to me and say, after they started target supplementing for like their adrenals and their hormones, which is what I'll just share with you here. She literally said, I thought I was getting dementia. So, we don't speak things, which probably is really good most of the time. We have to watch our words. But I mean, I'm serious. Like I just posted that in my stories, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Like we've got to pay attention to our words. But oftentimes we don't say certain things because we don't want people to know, because we're feeling a certain way. We're feeling insecure. We're feeling vulnerable. Maybe our confidence has been like knocked down a couple notches. Does that resonate with anybody? I mean, that was me in my 40s for sure. Like my first sign of hormonal imbalance, and I didn't understand the connection. It was brain fog and my inability to multitask. And, when you're out in the corporate universe, you need to be able to multitask. I'm just saying, like you have to have your wits about you, right? So, brain fog, fatigue, exhaustion, memory glitches, low levels of anxiety, depression. I felt like my postpartum that I felt so strongly in my early 20s, I felt like that was starting to kind of like hedge back in because it's a memory. So when something happens or you feel something or you're like, I remember this. And you're like, oh, no, right? But you're not really putting it all together because, it was really interesting. I was over at my daughter's today. So she just had our third grandson. I don't know if I've told you this yet. Just kidding. I'm sure that I have a million times. So he's a month old, and this is her third baby. And they're 3, 1.5, and 4 weeks old. So she's got a lot going on. But so I was over there today because her husband went back to work now after a month, and I was just hanging out and helping, doing stuff, and just we were talking about different pieces of this puzzle that she's gone through and how she wants to begin to share some of her story on social media for other moms, because the conversation that we kept having over and over again is nobody talks about this stuff, whatever it is. No, who's talking about this? And for sure, when I was in my 40s, nobody was online like this chatting about insecurities of brain fog. I mean, right? Like that wasn't normal. And so I just feel like if we can begin to like open up and talk to each other and tell each other what's working, like I can't tell you exactly why this blend makes me feel so good, but it does. And it's not something that's quantifiable. Okay. So the purple packet is something that I talk about all the time. Now I'm going back to my line, right? So the purple packet is a mixture of adaptogenic herbs and B vitamins. I don't know if you have ever tried adaptogenic herbs before, or if you've ever had anybody explain them to you or help you to understand a little bit of dosing of adaptogenic herbs. But I just want you to know that this is when I came to like a wake up moment of, oh my gosh, like God gave us answers. This is amazing. And I knew stuff from my own experience. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like work. Oh, wow. Ooh, ha, ha. Why is this working? Like, I got to figure this out. Like this is not my wheelhouse. So I started to study. But then people would come along in my life. Like there's a lady on TikTok who's she's a holistic psychiatrist. And she's like, oh yeah, like I left the industry because I couldn't prescribe any more. Like I'm done. And she only talks about like natural remedies like adaptogenic herbs. That's a whole nother, like that's a super deep, meaty conversation because like there's lots of reasons for why she chose stop doing one thing and chose to go another direction, blah, blah, blah. You can imagine that that's a very large conversation. But people would come along and they would validate things that I knew inside of me. So the purple packet, inside of it are 3 different supplements. One is an adaptogenic herb and a little bit of green tea extract One is all of your 8B vitamins time released. And women do not know that when they are deficient in certain B vitamins, they can have anxiety and depression. Like we just have got to get ourselves back to baseline because we're deficient. That's why the trio works so well for people's blood sugars coming down and losing weight, because it's filling in gaps that you don't even know that you have. But anyway, back to the purple packet. So the adaptogenic herb, all of your 8B vitamins, time released. And then there's another one. It's 2 more adaptogenic herbs. And it's actually for your memory. But what adaptogenic herbs do, and I'm sure they do a lot more than this, but the very basics of what they do is they come along and they support your adrenals. And now you got to remember, the first time I heard anything about an adrenal, I'm like, what is an adrenal? Like, I didn't know anything, nothing. I didn't even know insulin was a hormone. I just didn't know anything. But when your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys, and your kidneys, they regulate your hormones. And that means all of your hormones. So that's your feel-good hormones, your neurotransmitters like your dopamine and your serotonin, your sex hormones, of course, your libido, your sugar hormone, insulin, your stress hormone, cortisol, like all of them. And so when we come alongside and we lift up these adrenals and we begin to support them, things change. Now, I didn't know any of this when the adaptogenic herbs were balancing out my hormones, and I was only taking them for brain fog and mood. I wasn't even thinking. And this is quite a while ago now. I'm 59. So this is over 10 years ago. But I found out that they were balancing my hormones. I literally, this is my story, right? So it's never a claim, but it's my story. I literally sailed through menopause and I never had a hot flash, which is a little shocking, for the most part. I mean, I think that, I don't feel like that was going to be my direction. I'm just saying. But anyway, it was. And so now, like, if somebody just wants they just, dang it, I've got to deal with my brain fog and my fatigue. Take as you want, take as you need. Like, just take it like on a day where you feel like you need a little extra. I have a friend of mine that calls it go juice, even though they're supplements. You just need a little extra function and energy, right? A little focus and energy. Perfect. But if you need to know a little bit more about how to be consistent, to take 2 purple packets a day, see how that's working for you, then determining whether or not you need to boost that adaptogenic herb, etc. That's where I can have a quick conversation with you in the background. So you're always connected to me, and I don't say it with anything other than this is truly a very real life benefit. Like, you get me, and that just means that you get my personal conversation with you, and and my own experience and all of my testimonies that I have. And so I say that because, you know what? I think sometimes the reason why I end up talking to people in my DMs is because they're tired of the 22-year-old kid that works at GNC. He doesn't know, what maybe you're feeling inside, like you're not going to open up. Well, maybe you are. If you are opening up to a 22-year-old kid about how you're feeling, I would love to know what. Just kidding. But I'm just telling you, like, seriously, we feel like that. Like, we don't want to, that's whatever. Or, maybe we get tired of just Facebook ads and we're grabbing this here and we're grabbing this here and we're just desperate to have answers. And we don't understand this world very well. And even though I'm just a girl who figured out a few things, that's really all I am. But I've been able to just help a lot of women navigate these pieces so that you can have a little more function to life. And the reason why this is such a big deal is because it affects your relationships. It affects your ability to, like, when I was in my 30s, I saw women who were 10 years my senior, like I was in my upper 30s, and I thought, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be the crazy menopausal lady. And so that was me. And I kind of like intentionally thought that. And I knew that I wanted to do it differently. I had this much understanding of what I was even wanting. Like, how's that even going to happen? I don't know. Guess I'm just going to go eat some more sugar. I mean, honestly, like I total disconnect from my body. But these answers came to me, and this is kind of how my journey went. I have accidentally stumbled on things many times now. Like this, I'm kind of like actually good with the process because this is how it works in my world. I'm kind of a little bit like do 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 do, and then something like happens, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was fantastic. Why did that happen? And then I take the time to reverse engineer it and figure it out. So that's the benefit, I guess, when I get to chat with other people and help them out. So I do want you to know that. And so message me. That's what I'm here for. Go to my website, kirstenliebelt.com. There's a phone number on the top. You can text me if you want to text me and say, hey, I was on your live. Hey, Anna, good to see you. I was on your live and I need to know about the purple packet, right? And I know I've got many customers that pop on here and then they tell me how much they love it and et cetera, blah, blah, blah. But if you just need to chat with me, that's a really great way to do it. You can also go down to the Menopause Gut Health button and it is there as well, just so that you can look at it, right? There's no like gatekeeping on anything. It's like, if you need help, this can be help for you. So anyway, I'd love to know if you have any questions. And if you don't, that's totally fine. But I want to make sure I'm not missing anything because especially when on my Facebook, on my StreamYard, there are just times when I'm not seeing things and I'm like, shoot. And I get off and I go, look at all of those comments that I missed. So anyway, so if you're on replay, definitely let me know and then reach out and I'd be more than happy to help you. In the meantime, piece of housekeeping is that if you are renewing your trio, the 3 supplements with the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity, I have been working very diligently behind the scenes, packing up that glucose product and mailing it out. So if you're like, I need a refill of the trio, or I was just about to purchase it, what happens is basically you purchase the 2 of the 3, and then you work with me to get this one shipped to your house. Okay. Because I have inventory. So I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work for my customers. I can't not have inventory. So that's what I've been doing. Hello. Good to see you. Very good to see you. But I always want people to kind of be like, I want you to feel like you're being updated. Like this is what you can, if I have something new that hits, or if I have something that like you need to message me about, I want to make sure that I can do that. So, and we can get you taken care of so that you're not sitting out there like in the cold. I've got somebody just ordered 2. So stock is interesting. But anyway, so if you have stuff, Jacqueline, oh, you're so sweet. Yes, I do believe there's one going to your house. I do believe. What would I take for pain? What kind of pain, Anna? I would love to know. What kind of pain? That would be wonderful. Yeah, because it's so interesting. The other night, I actually slept wrong. Okay, so I really do love my new bed. I have literally been sleeping so good, and so is my husband. But I took my 3 stinky herbs, and you guys, like I said, I don't take them all the time anymore. And I think I just slept so well that I stayed in one position too long. And so my neck was all whatever. And I'm like, oh. So I pushed through because I didn't want to take ibuprofen. So she's asking about pain from working out. Oh, so muscular. Oh, perfect. Anna, you probably have the turmeric. Do you have the turmeric? Literally on the turmeric bottle, it says, which is shocking that a supplement company would say this because they don't risk their reputation very easily. Oh, you don't have it. Okay. So the turmeric is actually not very it's not very bioavailable. It's not very absorbable into your system. People don't know this. So you could be buying turmeric and it's not doing you any good. However, they make these claims. These are really, really big claims. And they're like a $5.5 billion company. So they don't do this lightly. I always like to point that out. Like if they're saying something, I'm going to repeat it because there's so much that I obviously don't say because I don't want to make claims. 45 times more absorbable than an average turmeric on your, like, than another brand. Their 400 milligrams is worth somebody else's 6,000 milligrams. And they literally say on the bottle, will help with pain and discomfort due to exercise. That is shocking because the P word, you'll notice there are a lot of places they won't use that because that's a hot button terminology for supplement companies to use. You just don't use that word, but they do. So I'm just telling you in general, yeah, it really is such an exceptional product. And we've already had really great testimonies. This was launched last fall and it's in their organics line, which is freaking amazing. USDA certified organic, which is a huge deal. But anyway, so turmeric, that's my answer to you. I love that product. And FYI, for the insulin resistant people, which I think y'all are if you're on my stuff, they mix it with fenugreek. And did you know that fenugreek is an herb that helps with sugars? So it's an added layer to your little insulin resistance journey. So that's my story, Anna. Anna DeQueen. Awesome. I need it. Yeah, I know. You have to buy it. What is the magnesium for? Okay, so magnesium, great question. And you know what? That is also another great conversation to have. Magnesium helps with cramps a lot. Like if you get leg cramps, magnesium actually is so important to your body. So turmeric, anti-inflammatory, bring down inflammation. That magnesium, there's like over 500 things that pieces of system in your body that need magnesium, and we're just deficient. So replenishing magnesium really can help with so many little things in your body. You just don't even know how many pieces of your system that it's touching. The turmeric is on my list. So let's see which one that's on. I don't have I think it's on the second button. I'm almost positive. On the second, so KirstenLiebelt.com, on the second button is the trio and the stinky herb, which is called Sleep Health. The turmeric is on there. It's on there. It is just, it's a phenomenal turmeric. So anyway, but the magnesium would be, and so, because Anna, are you talking about you bought this one, or you're going to, or you did, or whatever, right? You're looking at this one. So this is going to help you calm down, and this is not in my line. This is not in my line. Yep. Okay. So you bought this one. Okay. Not in my line. You would buy this like at Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or you can go to the company Maggenin, Maggenin. And it is a blend of the glycinate, L-theanine, citrate, taurate. It's a blend. Okay. You ordered it today. Perfect, Anna. So that will kind of take you down a notch. Like it helps you to relax. L-theanine is a very good, it's a less stress thought process for the magnesium. And if you have leg cramps at night, definitely really important. And if you are doing a really good clean keto, if you are really being whatever, always think about electrolytes. And again, I don't sell electrolytes right now, but there are a couple of them that I have, so because otherwise that can also, you can start to feel, they call it like the keto flu. It just means that you need electrolytes. That's all it really means. So there are two companies for electrolytes. One is called like the letter LMNT, Element. Get it? But it's the letters, capital L, capital M, capital N, capital T. That's one company. There's another one called Liquid IV, and I buy the sugar-free. So Element is sugar-free. The Liquid IV is sugar-free, and that's really important because you don't want to be messing up what you're trying to accomplish, right? But electrolytes, I do drink electrolytes like all the time. I do that because you need to, yes, take the magnesium at bedtime, Anna. Yep. Yep. And that's at the same time. If somebody's looking to try the sleep health, take them at the same time at bed. Absolutely. Yeah, see, and this is the deal. So even last night, I ran out of my turmeric. Not my turmeric, sorry. I ran out of my magnesium. So I'm waiting for this to come to my house right now. Like it should be here any day now. So I ran out. And so last night, and I didn't want to take my stinky herb because, and I take 3 of those. I didn't want to because I knew I was getting up early this morning to go over to my daughter's to hang out with her and her babies. And so I don't know. I was just like, oh, I'm getting up earlier than usual. Like I'm setting my alarm. I don't want to miss my alarm. I don't want whatever. I just was being weird, right? And I didn't have my magnesium, and I think that's maybe my 3rd night, 4th night, maybe. I don't remember. Man, I'm like, I need it. It really just is kind of calming and helps you sleep well. Anyway, so it's a very good blend. All right. Does anybody need anything else? Or are we good? Are we good to wrap up? Send you the link on the electrolytes. I will do that. I'll have to see, Anna, where the best deal is on the Element, because I don't buy that brand. But I'll have to look around. I'll send you stuff. I will. But if you guys have any needs, like literally, let me know, right? So there's a number on my website. You can text me there and just tell me you were on my live or whatever. Always hit replay. Tell me where you are. You can't wait to receive your magnesium. I think you're going to really like it, Anna. I do. I've appreciated it. This is my 2nd bottle of this brand. And I already know that I like it better than the other blend. I just do. So you'll like it. But you can always text me. You can always DM me. Don't go with confusion, because a confused mind does nothing. And then what have you done? Then you haven't moved forward in your journey. When it comes to the trio, again, if you need to purchase a glucose product from me because it's out of stock in your state, let me know. Let's get that taken care of, so that the beginning of May, I just changed out the banner in the Facebook group. May 6th through the 10th, Monday through Friday, I'll go live every single day, and we'll do a 5-day challenge for insulin resistance. And my goal is to educate you, resource you, put tools in your toolbox, give you hope, give you encouragement that this is reversible, that you can do this. If I can do this, literally anybody can do this. Because of my Italian heritage, it's seriously like, you can do this. And so, don't pause. Like, get yourself ready for that challenge. Get your trio in hand. If you haven't, reordered, get yourself reordered. Let me know while I still have inventory. Not gonna lie. And be ready for the beginning of May, because then what you can do is you can really hammer the month of May for yourself and be just that much more prepared for June, so you can enjoy your summer. And if you don't know about all of the testimonies, jump over to my Instagram. Take the time to go over there. If you don't have Instagram, I wish I could post it somewhere else on my Facebooks, but I can't, or on my YouTube. I just don't have that. Maybe I got to figure that out. But on my Instagram, Kirsten Liebelt, there's a highlight bubble of the trio testimonies. And as they come in, I screenshot them, I put them in my stories, and then I add them to that highlight bubble, because you need to have hope and encouragement in your heart. You need to have that. You need somebody to come along and say, no, this is like for real. These are not corporate testimonials. These are like literally my friends, my people. They were strangers and now they're my friends, and that's how this goes. That's how same thing with the business team, right? When people join me in doing business, they're now my friends. People can start out as strangers, but they're not. What about multivitamins? Andrea, good to see you. What are you looking for in a multivitamin, Andrea? Meaning, are you looking for just like a women's daily? The middle of the road would be I have a women's pack that has 4 things in it, super convenient. Take it once a day. And hi, friend. Or I do have the top of the line, which is what I take, of course, which is a multi-mineral, a multivitamin, and a phytonutrient. Like they come vacuum sealed in their individual little packets. That's how fresh they are from the farm. And they come off of organic farms. They all come off of organic farms. So I mean, they're vacuum sealed and they're very, you know, every single thing. I have nothing to say negative about either choice. A lot of it has to do with your age, where you are nutritionally for yourself, what you're trying to conquer, and then let's throw in budget. Everybody needs to pay attention to their budget. Nobody wants to get started on something and not be able to continue, right? You want to get the results. So let's make sure we match that up. And you asked about, that's hilarious, both of you at the same time. Yeah, so there's 3 options, Andrea, in my line. So if you go to kirstenliebelt.com, you can go through any of those products. Just find a product and click on it. Now you're on my website. Go to the search bar. You could put in Women's Daily, Women's Pack, or Double X. All 3 of those. And that's how you can get to see, so you can read up for yourself. If you're like, listen, I've never taken a vitamin before in my life. If I could get a daily vitamin in, I would be so proud of myself. Then that's maybe where you start. But maybe you're like, okay, I need something a little bit more comprehensive. Like I want the daily with the hair, skin, nails, with the CalMag D. I'm trying to remember Carrie, do you know what the 4th vitamin is in the women's pack? I know that's a tall order. You probably don't know that. I just mentioned that one. I can't remember. But my point being, that's then the women's pack. Little packet, take 1 a day. If you're like, okay, I know that I have got to flood my body with nutrition, to the point where one of my favorite testimonies is my friend's dad. He couldn't get his sugars under control for over 10 years. Started taking the Double X twice a day. And within 4 months, his A1C came into check. He did not know this was going to be a side benefit. This was like me. He accidentally had his A1C come into check, and he, over the course of, I don't know how long, lost over 50 pounds because there were deficiencies and his body was just super deficient. So if you feel like, probably super deficient, you know what I mean? You'll find yourself having better energy and everything, right? So anyway, I hope that explains that. But again, ask questions if you have them. You just feel that you don't eat too healthy. Okay, so you know what? Maybe you go by your budget. Look up the women's pack, Andrea, and see what you think about that. You know, see what you think about that. And then you can look at the Double X and just kind of concentrated fruits and vegetables. So in the women's pack, the 4th one is the concentrated fruits and vegetables. It's a really good packet. I'm not going to lie. That's a really good packet because you're getting the daily hair, skin, nail, CalMag D, concentrated fruits and vegetables. It's really good. And you know, when I talk to people I was talking to somebody earlier, like we have powdered greens and powdered berries. You know, the way that I want people to think about this is if you go to the grocery store, you don't ever want to buy. And I know, I understand there's always a price tag on everything, but the worst things for you to buy are non-organic greens and berries. They're the worst because you don't rinse off Roundup off of a raspberry. I mean, think about how fragile a raspberry is, right? So then you don't want to go out and buy berries or greens that are not organic, that are powdered. Okay. So same thing with your vitamins. Like Double X is not that's not a vitamin. That's like a food supplement. Like they took the food, they took the blueberries and the spinach and whatever, and they put it all in there. But it's the same thing in the women's daily. It's just less phytonutrients, but they took the plants. But you want those plants to be coming off of organic farms. Just saying. And these are. So that's really important. The women's pack is the one that I'm talking about, Andrea. The women's pack. Just look that one up and see what you think. That has 4 different ones in there. Throw it in your purse, super easy. Yeah. So anyway, I always think about that because like the berries and the greens, they are literally USDA certified. Like it's not easy to get a USDA certification. You have to follow very strict standards to get that. And they're doing it. They've gone through the hassle to get it so that they can have, so that you can take things and be like, well, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to go to the local grocery store and buy, $6, $7 little pints of organic raspberries because we're not in berry season right now in Minnesota yet. So it's very expensive. I'm not going to do that, but I can go over here and I can take organic berries that have been like, put into a powder and add it to, what I like to do with that is add it to whole fat Greek yogurt. It's so good. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, so Andrea, do you have any other questions? I'd be more than happy to help you. I'm so glad you're figuring that out. When we know better, we do better, right? And I'm telling you what, now with my new mattress, I know I'll be sleeping tonight. I'm so happy. You guys, it was so firm on that front end. It was so dang firm. I could not sleep. It literally made my body ache. And one of my claims is that, well, it's not a claim, it's a real thing. I'm 59 and I don't ache. And I talk about that a lot because I know that that's because I eat grain-free and sugar-free. So do yourself a favor. As somebody who eats a keto lifestyle, a whole food keto lifestyle, not the make-believe keto stuff that they market to us. Trying to get away with grain on keto, number 1, is really bad for your sugars and it doesn't work very well. Number 2, I know this is why I don't ache. Like I know. So I'm just telling you, it's like the best tip I could ever give people is, thank you for putting that away, sweetie. No, you're fine. He's putting away our supper. I'm just saying, like, I got to go over and be with my grandbabies and be on the floor with them again today. You're going to check them out. You'll send me a message if you can't figure it out. That sounds perfect, Andrea. I like that. Resourceful person, you. So anyway, so I won't go back. I won't go back. You can't make me. I love eating grain-free. That's why I like to teach Maria Emmerich bread, grain-free egg white protein powder bread and stuff. It's so good to eat, and then it doesn't make your joints ache. We have the most phenomenal joint supplement on the planet. It is so good. Guess who doesn't take it? I don't take it. I used to all the time, very religiously, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. And they're kind of a little, because they're glucosamine, but what they did was they put an anti-inflammatory blend inside of there. And isn't that what we want, right? I used to take it all the time because my fingers and my wrists would just ache. I don't ache anymore. And I know that's because I don't eat grain. So I can't stress that enough. People are trying to cut corners and eat grain on keto, and it really just doesn't. It stops your results and it doesn't get you the best results for how you feel inside of your body. So if you're looking to level up, but anyway, get in the Facebook group. That's on my website too, KirstenLiebelt.com. Go get in the Facebook group. Because then you can be ready for the challenge in May. Excuse me. May 6th, Monday, May 6th. All right. So until next time, have a super good night, you guys. It was really fun hanging out. And if you have any questions, let me know. Message me, text me, ask me all the things, and I will talk to you very soon. See you later. All right, you guys. See you later. Have a good night, Andrea, Anna.